even though he makes me sad.
Shakura, you've been raised in Switzerland for some years, grown up in Switzerland, in the US, and now living in Canada and having a German deal. It seems like you're cosmopolitan or restless soul.
I think you asked me this, and I think the answer is I'm not a restless soul. I think we just moved around a lot. But I think most people where I'm from in Toronto are used to being raised in different places and are used to being in different environments. So if anything, I'm a true Torontonian.
And how did it happen to spend those years in Switzerland?
My father's Swiss, so we lived there for 3.5 years, and I went to school there and had to learn Swiss German, and then we left and went back to Toronto.
Gonna tell my baby I love him, even though he makes me sad.
You have so many different styles absorbed in a way in your music on your new CD. That's what interests you personally, that you've grown up and that you're bringing in together in your own songs now?
I never thought of it that way. I was just making music. I don't think that that the sounds are that different. I think they're all part of my life. So I never thought of it as bringing different things into it. I just thought of it as just telling my story, and that's pretty much all it was. To me, just being me.
I'm gonna tell my baby I'm leaving. Oh, even though it'll make him mad.
How difficult was it establishing yourself in Canada and then outside of Canada? I think it's a hard working process.
To push myself?
Yeah, and to
promote myself?
Yeah.
I think it's a very hard thing. I think being a black woman who sings the blues is not an easy place to be. I think there's a lot of women who are black and who sing the blues, and so there's not enough work for all of us. So you have to find a different way of telling the story, or something that appeals to people outside of the norm. You have to be outside of the box, and I think that's what I'm hoping to be, is outside of the box. I don't just want to be another blues woman singing. I want to be a woman, telling the story, and it just happens to be blues, but it appeals to everyone.
I'm gonna hit your ride on a slow train. I don't need to go to.
How did this process happen, writing the songs?
I think we just we worked well together musically on stage, and it was a natural progression to say, hey, I've got some songs, do you want to get together? I think when you're working with people on stage, a lot of times you want to go a little bit more and see if you can explore new things with them. And so I wanted to see if I could explore something with Donna, and then the first time we worked together, it was amazing. It was as though I found my soulmate musically. It was easy, it was simple. Everything should be simple, it shouldn't be complicated. And working with her was definitely all of those things. It was uncomplicated, it was normal. It feels very normal to be writing with her. And very quickly we had trust on both sides, I think, on if she gives me music, I'm going to respect it and treat it with love. And if I give her words, she's going to respect it. If I give her bass lines or guitar lines or anything, she's going to find a way to use it, but use it respectfully. So.
Well then, get yourself a guitar playing girl. She'll pluck your strings. I said she'll pluck your strings. Did you like that? I don't think he understood, John. Go get it.
sounds that he also have other experiences, being treated without disrespect before? Or?
No, I don't put myself in those situations, or I might have had those experiences, but they were very short-lived. But I think you can write with everybody, but you cannot write well with everybody. I think the people who you write well with are few and far between. You know, otherwise Bernie Taupin would be writing with everyone and not just Elton John, and Mick would have found someone besides Keith to write with. I think there is a definite moment, just as in a marriage or in a business association, where you find that one person who you can connect with, and that's what I found about it.
Isn't the first time that you're touring Europe or Germany now?
No, this is not the first time anymore. No, no, it's been a while now. We started in 2008, and I think I've been back altogether maybe 7 or 8 times.
And what about the experiences here? Is the audience somehow different compared to the American or the Canadian audience? Or?
Well, I think that's an obvious question. Of course, they're different. They're different. They've got different customs. They've got different cultures. How they listen to music is different. I don't think that anyone would compare an American audience to a Canadian audience, or a Canadian audience to a European audience. And to say European is being very vague and very general, because I think the audiences are in Germany are very different from the audiences in France, and the audiences in Italy, and definitely the audiences in Switzerland. You know, so I think each nationality has their own way of listening and absorbing the music. You know, and you have to drop into that. You have to feel that, and you have to know that how you play in Luxembourg is not how you necessarily can play the same show in Switzerland. It might feel like the same show, but you have to be able to connect to that audience in particular.
So what's special about the German audience, or how do you connect differently with the German audience?
I think for me, it's been very interesting being in Germany, because one thing I hadn't yet experienced was the difference between North and South, East and West in Germany. You know, depending on where you are in Germany, there's also a different feeling. You know, and so I think the big thing is trying to make sure I speak at least a little bit of German. I think the other thing is being authentic in that moment. And I think the Germans like to rock a little bit more, you know, and so trying to make sure that we rock out as much as possible, that it's still blues, but there's that element of rock, you know, that they like the guitar. It makes sure that the guitar and I have moments, you know, that we can connect.
That's all you got.